We're going to begin our sequence today in Tadasana. So come to a standing position, feet are hip distance apart, and we're just going to gently move the weight over to one side as we begin to churn the ankles. So there are two ways to do this. You can simply rotate your foot around like so, or you can take the top of the foot, placing it on the floor, and churn deeper into the ankles by rotating through the heel and even up into the knee as well. So we're just going to do 10 or so rotations on each foot. And then when you've done 10 on one foot, simply move the weight over. We're going to switch sides and repeat on the other side. So remember, you've got the option of finding that standing balance or toes to the floor and churning in the other way. So whichever option you did on one side, do on the other. And again, we're doing 10 or so rotations. So I'm going to call that 7, 8, 9, 10, and then return just back to neutral. So we're going to come down into a kneeling position on the mat for a toe stretch, tucking our toes under as we sit back on our heels. So we're going to be here for about 5 or so breaths. During that time, you could do some of those arm stretches. If it gets too uncomfortable, you can always come back up and then come back down. This is a really good stretch for stretching out the underneath of your feet, so your plantar fascia, and getting into the toes, helping stimulate that circulation in your feet as well, and helping open up the feet and stretch off and mobilize them, making them more flexible. So you're just going to take a moment here, maybe 2 more deep breaths. And it does get really uncomfortable, I know, guys, so just persevere through it. And then when you've got to around 5 or so breaths, just gently come off the toes, untuck them, maybe wiggle the feet slightly and sit back on your ankles again or on your heels again. The next movement we are going to do is an ankle stretch. So sitting back on your heels, you're going to take the hands behind you and then gently lift the knees off the floor. From here, you're just going to exhale to drop the knees to the floor again, and then inhale to lift. So we're going to do 10 or so gentle lifts. 4, 5, 6, and just go as high as you can without any pain. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then on the 10th one, if you can, see if you can take your left hand to your left knee. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release that hand to the floor and switch sides. So right hand comes to right knee, take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, release your feet to the floor or your knees to the floor, and then we're going to inhale as we sit back and see if we can take both hands to both knees, really stretching now up into the ankles. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. If you run a lot or you walk a lot, you'll probably find that you've got quite stiff ankles, especially if you're sat at a desk a lot. So that will probably be a stretch that you should do quite regularly. The final stretch of the day is going to use your rolling pin or massage roller. I always try and keep one of these under my desk so that I can massage out my feet, because this is a really good way of looking after your plantar fascia and looking after your feet and your ankles, because everything in your feet is connected into your ankles. It can cause problems in your calves, your shins, your knees, your hips. Any problems in these areas are usually caused by a problem further down underneath your feet, and it's an area that we neglect a lot. So with your rolling pin, you can either do this in a standing position and just simply roll your foot over the top, or you can come to a seated position at your desk and place your foot on top of the rolling pin and just gently massage it out. So this is just gently massaging all the little muscles and tendons in your feet. You can go all the way up to the toes and then right into the heel as well. Make sure you don't neglect the heels. And just take a moment or 2 to do this, maybe every day even, just to look after your feet, keep them in good working condition, keep them mobile, keep them flexible. And remember to spend as much time on one foot as you do on the other, so equal amounts of time on both sides. Just gently massaging out those feet, getting into all those areas. That's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that mini flow. I'll catch you again on the mat soon.